morning, welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Kones. Today we're going to be talking about real estate and talking to a gentleman who really came up from the bootstraps all the way up. His name is FARROWSON. He is the CEO of the Pacific Reality Investment.
Yeah.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you very much.
I see we have taken a bit of time, but let's just quickly run through from the beginning.
Yeah.
How did you start your journey into real estate?
Thank you very much for hosting me. My name is FARROWSON GICHOVI, CEO Pacific Reality Investment, whereby we deal with construction of affordable housing. My journey started from very humble beginnings, whereby I started from a construction site. Once you go to a construction site, there are very different levels of workers in the construction site. Since I had no experience, when I finished Form 4, I started as a site boy. A site boy is someone is the lowest grade of any worker in the site, because you take care of the site site house, the site office, and then also you work as a cashier during the day. And then when people break on weekends, you are supposed to be left at the site so that you can be able to water the project in the evening over the weekends, even on Sundays. So that's where I started. Then from there, I started learning how to build. Then I did what you call now, there was a time that we had people were coming to do makuti for that project that we are doing. It was a club in Pipeline. So I was able to learn how to do the makuti. In the process of learning how to do the makuti, now I moved from now the stage of a site boy to what we call now a semi-fundi, who could be able now to do roofing with the makuti. Then at some point, I realized that I need to up my game from this construction work. Then the owner of that construction noted that I was doing very well. He promoted me now to be one of the foremen, or one of the site managers in that site. So we did the project up to completion. Then once the site was done, I was given a chance also to work in that organization. By then, initially, those people are older than, older in my age. We used to finish Form 4, and then you wait for 2 years before you join the university. So I was to join university after 2 years, and then I could not be able to raise the funds. I remember we tried an Arambe in our home area. I come from Embu. The Arambe didn't bring much. Actually, I got 15,000, and we had spent 25,000 for cooking for the people who are coming for the Arambe.
Wow. I've done something similar to that. You can be so discouraged.
Yes, you can be so discouraged. I remember even when I was given the 15,000, what I did, there was the crazy of these phones. It was called Techno 100.
Yes.
So I just bought that phone and I forgot about school. So when we started the hotel, the guy started the hotel industry, he absorbed me to the kitchen department, where now I started also now from the lowest state, because I was not experienced. So I started from the kitchen, kuchonga viazi. Then when we were doing the kitchen work, the guy asked me whether he can be able to give me some loan so that I can be able to enroll in the university, and then they be deducting the money from my salary. So I enrolled at Desta University within that time. So I was a full-time student. So I used to work I used to go to school from 8 to 5, and then come in the evening and report to work. Actually, I could sleep for only 2 hours in a day. Sometimes, because since I was staying in Pipeline, I could walk all the way to Jogoo Road. I could come to town, and then I cross all the way from Uhuru Park to where Desta is today. And I remember very vividly, because you see, Desta is a private university.
Yes.
So there are people who came from very rich families. So they had their meals prepared by the school administration, but people could not afford, we could not pay. So I used to sneak to Nairobi University Medicine College, that is KMTC, at Kenyatta Hospital. So that's where now we could get food within 6 bob to 10 shillings. So I also rose from the kitchen. I was promoted to what we call a steward in the kitchen. Steward is somebody who's now, you move from the back of the kitchen, you are now promoted to somebody who can be able to serve people. Then from there, when I was promoted as the steward, I proved that I am a trustworthy person. I was made a cashier in the same, in the same department. Then from the cashier, I went to what we call now the supervision level. Then when the first year, we had a DJ who was very good. So he could leave the club like at 12 a.m. at night, so that he can be able to do other things. So I told him, since the boss is complaining that he is leaving the machine in what you call the autoplay, he trains me so that I can be able now to cover him during that time. Then he can give me like 100, 200 just to survive. So I took the responsibility of a supervisor, and then I could also sneak to the DJ's booth to learn the ropes of the DJ.
You became a DJ now.
Yes. Now, after like 1 month, I became a DJ. So the owner realized that now I can be able to juggle as a supervisor and a DJ. So the DJ was sacked. And then I was given
because
the
you
work of
know
the
you're
DJ.
now a sesame knife.
Yes, yes. Then now after that,
Yeah.
now my salary now started increasing. So in the aspect of the DJing, I was also able to meet with the musicians who were coming to the bar to entertain people. Then I was given now the responsibility of a DJ come entertainment manager. So I was able to meet with a lot of people. I was able now to secure a lot of commissions, and then I was going to school. So then after the second year, when I was doing my diploma at Daystar, the second year, now I was promoted to a fully entertainment manager. So my salary now has increased. I've now moved from a Mabati house, now I'm in a single room, the way a man moves from point A to point B. Then the club started now growing extremely, it became very busy. Then I was promoted now to a position of the manager of the bar. And I remember by then I was only 22 years. So that's the time that I bought my first vehicle. And I remember when I bought my first vehicle, I never even knew how to drive a vehicle.
Wow.
So the vehicle comes into my small parking, and then now the driver tells me, now this is the vehicle, so you need to drive it. So I was not able to drive the vehicle. So the person who sold the vehicle, we agreed that he is going to teach me how to drive a vehicle. I would say that then the vehicle, when I knew how to drive it, I also now doubled it as to have it within the restaurant as a taxi. The same vehicle. I work in the same organization, and then I bring my vehicle now.
You're quite the entrepreneur.
Yes, just to work like a taxi.
Wow.
So the vehicle did small things at night, but you see, the first car that you buy always, it is like it's like a car. It always gives you a lot of problem.
Watu wanakugonga.
Watu wanakugonga. So you make 1,000, it takes 2,000. You make 3,000, it takes 4,000. So I was not able to make anything about that, but also it gave me experience for the same. So then the third year I was promoted now to be the bar manager. Within that time, my name was put there as a young man who is turning around clubs into very successful businesses. So I was poached by the late Mwenje, the late MP for Embakasi. There was a club that he had in Umoja. It was called the Leaders Club. So I went there. The club was very down. I also worked in that bar. I put it in another level. Then I was also poached by another club at Daytona Club. It was in Imarandaima. Then the process of now picking. Sometimes when you pick, you forget where you came from. So when I was poached from this, I could not now. My energy was so much. I could not stay from one bar to the other. So it reached a point. Now when I went to Daytona, their vision and my vision could not work well. So I lost my job. So now it is now back to basics. By then I'd completed school. But me, I'm somebody who doesn't sit down and wait for things to happen. So one of the patrons in that club, I asked him to give me a job. So he told me the job that they have is the job of a office messenger. To clean the office, to cook the tea in the morning, and then also to make sure that I clean their vehicles before they come in the office, and when they come in the office, and when they are leaving in the office. So I was able now to take up those responsibilities.
You took that job?
Yes, I took that job.
That must have been very humbling.
Yes, very humbling. Then in the process of like 6 months within that job, one of the directors in that company bought a matatu, which was plying Buruburu route. Those people remember there's a matatu which was called Iced, and there's another one which was called Frex. Frex was operating Westlands, and then Iced was operating on Buruburu. So I asked the guy to give me the job of a tout. So the guy accepted, and he told me that I'm ready for that challenge. I told him I'm very ready for the challenge. So I did the operation of the matatus, but I was praying that since people knew me from now the hotel industry, now I've changed to matatu industry. There's that fear. But sometimes you don't care where money comes from, as long as you make something for, something to survive and something,
You're trying to stay afloat.
Yes, afloat. So I did the matatu for like 6 months. Then the owner realized that I have more, I'm more industrious and I have more talent than being a matatu tout. So they promoted me to their assistant office admin. And I can say that was my turning point. That is where now I started learning how people do business, how people employ people, how people register businesses and everything. So on the side of now being in the office admin, because you operate everything, I was sent to sort KRI issues, I could be sent to sort NHIF issues, I could be sent to register new companies. Now I was able to form networks within those areas. And then one of the directors in that company was dealing with what you call property management. So then I opened a signed company to manage property, but then I couldn't tell them it is my company. So I was able to vouch a few work to manage houses in Kayole, houses in Mweki. So now I became what we call now a property manager. Then from there, I opened an office, I remember, in Pipeline, which was a very small office, just in a staircase, the staircase space.
So that space,
yes, you know that space. So in the process of opening that office and I was working, I could go there very early in the morning, plan work, and then now come back to work in this company. Then also in the process, I now employed one person to take care of the office. So then I realized also people, the result we call shyrocking. So I now started now even giving people money. They pay on, with an interest
That's
of
a
20.
difficult business.
Yes, a very difficult business because I lost a lot of money, mostly from my friends.
Wow.
People could come with, I would say like TVs which are not working. They pretend they are working. You don't test because it's a friend. They take money and then they never pay back. They tell you just sell that TV, you recover your money. So in the process also now, when I started that business, I could also over the weekends, because we are not working on over the weekends, I could also take people around to see houses. Well, when you want to see a house in Nairobi, people will charge you 500 shillings. So I could talk to caretakers. I make 1,000 here, I make 500 there. So then from there, I now progressed now to car selling industry. Where I started selling vehicles on behalf of customers. Then I also got a lot of also network on the process. Then I jumped again now to selling land. I started selling land. Then after selling land, I saw there is a niche. There is a niche in construction. So I could sell land to, they could ask me, can you get somebody who can build for me? Since I'm a business person, I could tell them I can do it. So I did my first project in Donum.
I like that. Say me no.
Yes, I cannot say no. So I did my project in Donum, and then I learned that there is a very big gap in the construction industry. So that's where you find people lose a lot of money. You don't get trustworthy people. So the only thing that has also helped me through that journey is integrity and honesty. People could give me their money and I do things for them and they were very happy. So from the house that I did in Donum, I took also a break to also register the company for construction. Then I did my first house in Kamuru. In the process of doing the house, I also saw the hassle people go through. So what I did, we agreed with my wife, I will open an ad where so that she can be selling things, as I also sell land and I also broker vehicles. So around 2011, we registered the company. Then it took us like 2 years before we got our first customer, because most people could come and ask us, now you want to construct for me, I want to see a house that you have done, so that I can be able to have that confidence. Coincidentally, the project that I did in Dodom, the customer had given me a discretion that this house, I'm doing it privately, it should not be shown to anybody, so I could not be able to show people that house. And then also under that principle, I cannot lie to people, I've done this project which I've never done. So I remember 2012, I sold a plot to a guy who was living in Australia. Then he was very happy. And then when I opened the office, he came back at the end of 2012. So I tell him that now I've opened a construction company. He tells me, are you serious? I tell him, no, yeah, I'm very serious. And then he asked me, now, where do we start? I told him I have an architect and an engineer. And by then I never had such kind of a person. So what I did, there was an office which was just next to my office. So I approached the architect there. It was called Kirui. I told Kirui, please, I'll give you 5,000. Tuanze kazi. Draw for me. And then tukipata kazi, tutafanya kazi na wewe. So the guy did a very good drawing. So the guy, when he came back, I remember I had just 2 seats in my office. So he could not be able to sit down. So I had to wake up for him to sit down so that I can give him the brief of his project. So he told me that I'm going to give you 100,000. And then I'm going back to Australia. Please be sending me daily updates of what is happening on that project. So I got the 100,000. I sorted a few things. I never had receipt book and everything. I sorted Kirui kidogo. Then we started now the foundation. So I could send him update every day. So after 3 days, he sent me another 200,000. I can see the project progressed very well. After 3 months, the house was done with a very good budget. So the guy goes on Facebook. By then I was not on Facebook. The guy goes on Facebook and says that there is a young man in Kenya who has done this project for me. So after like 1 year.
So he marketed you?
He marketed me without knowing. So I can say nation people came to my office. They give me an interview that I did for free. I never knew it was a free interview because even I remember when they came, my wife told me, chunga sana na watu unaweza kuwa ni watu wa kamiti, wanataka kukupora. So what we did, we agreed, we agreed that I do the interview at one of my projects, at least to be secure. So we did the interview and I forgot about the interview. By then now I'd employed like 2 people. So once we did the interview, we got a lot of good feedback. But I could say that was now the testing point, whereby you get work, you have no systems, you have nothing, you have no qualified people. But I thank God, I was able to deliver like 10 projects within that year. And that was my turning point. Then from there, I got a lot of referrals. So currently, as I speak, we do projects all over Kenya and even in Southern Sudan. And at any given time, we have like 50 to 100 projects, ongoing, completion. People who have been able to follow us on Facebook, they can see. So the company grew from one person. Currently, we have a lot of cashiers. We employ more than 800 cashiers. We have a professional team in the office. We have engineers, we have architects, we have project managers, we have accountants, assistant accountants. It's a fully-fledged now company as we speak.
That's a really beautiful story.
Yeah.
And kudos from that really grace to grass story. Now, let me ask, FARROWSON.
Yes.
One of the things I'm noting about you, two things actually. One is that you are quite a risk taker.
Yeah, sure. You need to.
Yeah?
You need to.
Say something about that.
Now, what I would say about taking risk is very important for any business person. Because like now, I know even in your experience, at some point, somebody came and took you somewhere, let's say in Kitengera, and told you, kuna kaproti kanauzwa hapa, it's going for 100,000, but then Kitengera in 5 years itakuwa imebanuka. Then you say no. Let me just go and think about it. You never touch that product.
It's in the bush.
It is in the bush, you know, it is very inaccessible.
Hakuna barabara.
Yes, hakuna barabara. And then also you talk to your boys, they tell you, uko ni wapi unatupa mbao. So, people who took risk on buying that land, after 2 years, they'll sell to you like 5 times, 20 times of whatever price you are given during that time. Another thing is you believe in yourself. You need to believe in yourself, because I believe that God created us to, you know, to achieve things. Because sometimes when you don't believe in yourself, when you fear, mostly people fear taking risk. As I put in my business, you know, my business journey, were it not that I did those steps of risking, I could not be where I am today. I remember one time my wife told me that when I opened the company, it took me 13 good months without making any business. So she was like, you go to work, you have a vehicle, you cannot be able to fuel the vehicle. The newspaper guy, anakudai. I remember one time, wacha nikupe story. Nilikuwa nimekula chakula, hoteli, which was downstairs, because I'm in first floor. Nimekopa gazeti downstairs. The landlord comes every evening at the door. And the door to that office is one. So I could talk to the caretaker to tell me when they close. So I could stay in the office until, hata wakifunga saa 5 ndio nitachomoka kwa hiyo ofisi. Niko na deni ya chakula, niko na deni ya magazeti, sijaeka hata gari mafuta.
Okay.
You understand? So perseverance, risk taking, for any business to be successful, lazima pia face head on.
Yes. And you're telling yourself that there's hope for tomorrow.
Yes, yes. And then
the other thing I notice is your sheer resilience and bounce back.
Yeah.
Maybe before you even tell me about the real estate you're doing now,
yeah.
Have you survived in that? Because you happen to have had setbacks.
Yeah, sure.
But then you try again.
Yes,
but then
yes.
you try again.
Yes.
What has been the thing that keeps you going to try again?
Let me say that when you have setbacks, like any other person can tell you, one, you learn a lot of things. Because the people that you thought are your friends, they ran away from you. Because I remember when I went down, that time, that period was a very hard period for me. I had taken a loan of like, I was supposed to be paying that 1,000 every month. And then you have a kid who was like 1.5 years. Now you have no source of income.
We're gonna die. Diapers, maziwa.
Hauna diapers, hauna. Alafu sasa pia ile kukua roju, what I did, all my savings, nilipika kifua, nikajenga nyumba. So nimejenga nyumba, I have no any other source of income, so pesa yote nimepeleka kwa nyumba. So umekuwa zero. So people now start telling you, you made a mistake. Now you start thinking, enyewe ni kama nimemake mistake. Hukujipanga. But then again, unaona, I need to bounce back. I need to source for my family. So what I did, I said I will not go to the, you know, to sleep in the house. Ningoje vitu zitokeleze. Actually, I started from scratch. We started now doing what you call the hardware. I remember I had a Peugeot, which I was using now to ferry cement to people within the estate. I could even do 100 deliveries. A cement does not have a lot of profit. So if you do the mathematics, we got a profit of like 20 shillings in a bag. So if you do 100 deliveries, you get 2,000. 2,000, you know, you're able to sustain your family, and you can do a few other things. So from the hardware, we were able to open a shop. My wife was also very supportive. She opened a grocery shop within the same setup. So what we did, where we had done our house, we did like 3 shops in front of it. So it became now what you call like a business center. You understand? So even bouncing back, you need also to be very flexible. You can start small, because if I had my ego, you know, I'm from this management company. You know, I was working as you know, in an office, and then now I don't want to go back to Juakali. Now that's where now people go wrong. You can stagnate waiting for better things, rather than trying for, you know, starting small. So I started small again, and I was able now to pick again.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So tell us about now real estate. A lot of people, you know, like now you have Pacific Reality, your company. Just in the scope of the broad things you do, What do you do with that company that you can
Okay, now my Pacific Realty company does what we call construction of affordable housing, whereby we build on behalf. So let's say you come to us, we give solutions in construction development. We have a team of consultants, like the engineers, the architects, and the structural engineer. We have a quantity surveyor. So what you do, you come to us, we draw for you, and then we build for you up to completion with a very affordable budget that you can not get in the market. So what we do, we advise people, and then we take their construction from scratch to completion. So and then we also manage the authorities aspect, whereby you need to do approvals, you need to comply with the NEMA, you need to comply with the NCA, you need to comply with all those government bodies.
Yeah.
So as a Pacific, we take care of that. So when you come as a customer, you just give us your dream, we put it on paper, we agree on a budget.
even connections, water, power.
Yes, water, power, and everything, yes. Like power is a very big issue. People are facing a lot of challenges with power, and if the government is listening, they need to check on that. Actually, I've had cases whereby even people are being arrested because of power connection. There are very many issues revolving around power. Water is also another big challenge, but what I can say, Kenyans have changed the way they view about water. People are digging boreholes. So you find in every estate, there's a borehole that supplies water within that area. So we take care of all those processes. And then again, we also advise our customers when they come to build, because sometimes you might think construction is a very expensive affair. But then again, you can afford construction. You can do it step by step. You can take a finance, and then also you can save for your construction. So there are very many ways that we advise our customers depending with their needs and their preferences.
Yeah. I was asking you earlier, a lot of us are worried about two questions.
Yeah.
How much?
Yes.
How long?
Yes.
How much will this thing take me?
Yes.
And how long will it take me?
Yes.
Will I be able to make it? What do you say? People have land but not being able to start.
What I can say is you need to start small, because sometimes I believe in humble beginnings. There is a scenario whereby, like, if you go to a bank, they'll give you money to do the whole project within a certain period of time. But then again, you need to check on the checks and balances. How much interest am I going to pay for that construction? Now, if you are in a stable employment, you can go to a circle, you save, and then they give you a loan. You can also save with a dream of building a house maybe after 2 to 3 years. So what you need also to do, let's say people are in business. People in business, they are not able to give what you call, like they cannot be able to tell you how much I will get next year, how much I'll get this year. It in a 50-50. So you can start small. You can have a budget of 2 million, and then you have like 200,000 in your account. The 200,000, don't keep it in your account. Go and do the foundation for that house. Then take a break of like 2 to 3 months. Get another 200,000, come and do like the casting of the slab. Take a break, come and do the wiring. So you find yourself within a year or within 1.5 years, you're able to achieve a house that can fit your family. So there are very many options that you can be able to do rather than just waiting, because money will never be enough. I can tell you for free. You cannot also deposit. Every day you keep money. Money can never be enough. So what you need to do is to start small with whatever you have, and then if you're able to qualify for construction mortgage. Currently, construction mortgage cost has gone very down because there is a lot of competition, and then also with the way government is trying to make affordable housing. So if you're able to achieve that, you can also go to banks. They can give you the construction mortgage. SACCOs also are very open to construction, and then if you're saving for your house, start saving and start, hit the ground. Just never wait. Just hit the ground and you build.
Yeah. That's very good advice.
Yeah.
You being in the construction business, there are those who say, they think the nitty-gritty is too much. And you say you take care of that. You walk in and walk through the people. How has been the experience like for even people who have come there without any knowledge?
I would say the experience has been awesome. Like any other business, we also face a lot of challenges. One, Kenyans are difficult to deal with. I can tell you for free. Number two, the authorities. The bureaucracy in our authorities.
Tuko na makona mingi.
Makona ni mingi sana. So by the time you get an approval, you promise a customer that I'm going to do approval for within a month. The customer pays everything, and we also pay let's say we are working with the Nairobi County, we pay everything to the Nairobi County, and then we wait for a month. This thing takes like 6 months. So the customer becomes very impatient. So you can either lose business or make business. Number two, the employees that we employ, the staff that we have in our work, you cannot get 100% integrity on them. So that's also another challenge. In my case, people...
We have a lot of people who want to be rich tomorrow.
People who came to my office, like when now I picked, they started their own business on the side. So they tell clients to use their what you call their proxies to do work that you are doing. So you find sometimes they have those challenges that you get from the staff, there are challenges that you get from the customers. The customers were very difficult. You agree with somebody that I'm doing, for us we do what we call square meters. Square meters is the size of the house. You agree you're doing 200 square meters for a house. You build the house up to completion, The guy comes with their uncle or their, a relative or their friends, and then they tell the client the sitting room is very small. This dining room is very small. The person who is telling you that the house is small, he has built in Karen. You are building in a place in Isinya, whereby the plot is just 50 by 100. So they start now advising you. So you find the customer trusts the relative more than the contractor. So you find those issues. And then again, we also find issues of people supply our materials. Like in our case, and I can enlighten our people here that when you want to buy construction materials, don't go for lorries, because people buy things in lorries. You say that, like when you're seated here, you say that I want 2 lorries of stone, but how many pieces are they gonna be delivered? If you walk or if you drive around our roads, you have seen people putting stones along the road. Yes. Those are stones that were sourced from, let's say, Darugo, like 500 pieces, and then along the way, the driver or the makanga, they sell like 200 pieces, so they deliver 300 pieces. You have seen Mchanga and Kakoto also on the road. So they bring you 20 tons, but then they remove like 5 tons. So what you need to do when you're constructing, you also have to be very careful. Get a quantity surveyor who can give you the quantities, then buy things in quantities. Another thing, pay things when they are delivered, so that you can be able to have the actual material quantities, rather than just telling and then you pay. So is there are always that come to the site, because you see the era of internet, people think internet is 100%. So you have a very good site manager and a very good supervisor. They take a photo, but sasa wakichukua photo imemwaga nini? You understand? Wanaweza mwaga na wabebe. So you have to be very keen in construction, because construction is one of the industry that is not regulated well.
Do you help your customers navigate through that?
Yes, for us, we help our customers navigate through that, and that's why now our cost is always very low, because the rates that we give, even people doubt the cost that we give, because we're able to mitigate those issues. Because you find you're working with a budget of 5 million, but then again the budget expands to like 8 million. The 3 million, if you do your analysis, it is P-farage within the setting. Ukora tu hapo kidogo. But if you got the right person, pay 5 million atakujengea nyumba. And then again, when you want to build, you want to go get a contractor, do due diligence, visit sites zake, talk to former clients, just to be very sure. Because also pia tuko na conmanship within our industry. Somebody will come and take photo of this building and then say, nyumba mimi nilijenga.
Tell me, FARROWSON,
yes,
in a world where corruption seems to be the normal, why is integrity a factor for you? Yet you could just be a corrupt businessman making millions. Yes.
Now what happens, the thing that makes me uphold integrity, I can say from where I came from and from those humble beginnings. You must have principles. I'm a Christian, and then you must have those principles of making clean money so that you can be able to progress to the next level. I've seen guys who do corruption, but it doesn't last. What I can tell anybody, dirty money will never last. It has a period. But then again, if you provide solutions to people, you can make money. Because also people forget, money is within the people that you live with.
And they will tell each other.
They tell each other. And if you provide a solution, a positive solution, you'll make money. You can even make money in your house if you provide a solution. So you need to provide solutions with a lot of integrity. Because another thing is, like now, I meet people, you have retired, you have gotten your pension, you want to do a house for your retirement. Now, can you imagine conning somebody who has retired? He has no other source of income. He has taken his or her pension, and then you con that person. Even your conscience, the way you operate, and even your family. We need also to think beyond ourselves.
Even the bitter tears he will cry to God.
Yes. We need to think beyond ourselves. We need also to think with generation to generation. We also face challenges whereby we do mistakes, because in any company there are mistakes that happen. Me, I take responsibility. As a company, we take responsibility. I can tell you, we do your house, there is a mistake that we can confirm is a mistake, we take responsibility. So that surrounds what now you say now the integrity.
It does surround that, yes. Because it's very difficult to find they call them fundi. Fundi mwenye anasema tu hapa yenyewe hapa.
Yes. Kuenda. And again, when you don't also involve professionals in construction, if you involve a fundi, what they do, once they mess you, they go to the next ship. Now for a company, they need to protect their name. So they must make sure that they do the right thing from the onset.
Because you're here tomorrow, you're here the following day. A lot of people want to have the dream to be, a homeowner, a landlord maybe, somebody who is able to even have some businesses going. And you said start small, start where you are. How would you advise a person who is entering? Because sometimes we don't get the financial advice when we are entering the workspace as a young person.
Yeah, sure.
The young people who are 20, 21, 25, who are in their first job.
What I can advise people, because I've been asked that question a lot of times, when you want to venture into any business, First of all, you need to have what you call the perseverance and, to wait. So what I advise somebody, first of all, if you can be able to fit into any, I would say like any setup of that business. Let's say you want to go into construction. I've seen guys who have done like architecture, they have done engineering, and then they start from that level of a fundi or a supervisor in a site. So you're able to run the ropes along the way. And then once you learn from the site, now you can also now look for a job in an office so that you can be able now to see how people are operate and how people are able to, to manage the employees and everybody. Then when you get your first job, let it not be like where people think is a jackpot. Because you have seen people, you buy your first car, munaenda kuikojolea ama munaenda mahali, and then you find by the time you're coming back inagongwa kwa sababu that's not the way to do things. So what you need to do is invest back whatever you get also from that project, and then the company will keep on growing. Another thing is you cannot get rich in a day. It will take years for you to make it in this life. So you need to be very patient. You need to be very patient with your customers. You need to have a lot of integrity, a lot of honesty. And then once you provide, like as I said, solutions for customer 1 and customer 2, they are referrals. Let's say I provide to 1 and 2. They refer me to 3 and 4. Now the 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it multiplies to 8 customers who are on board. So you're able now, your company keeps on growing. So you need to start also small. You don't need to have an office to start work. You can start by word of mouth. You can start within your network. Number 2, you don't need to also to get into employment so that you can start your work. You can start from informal employment, because the challenge is somebody who has done let's say an engineering or an architectural course. They have that attitude of I cannot go back to those basics of starting from small.
Yes.
Yeah.
And reputation is everything.
Reputation. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. The challenges surrounding the construction industry right now, especially post-COVID and during COVID, what would you say? And even how the government approaches?
We have a big challenge in, I would say, the control of the dollar. Because you see, most of the construction materials are, let's say, like 80% of the finishes are imported. So if the economy goes down, if the dollar goes up, the cost of material is being affected a lot. We're having a lot of issues with the cost of materials. Another thing is the restriction of movement, because you find construction is a train. You work with a lot of teams within that construction site. You find
mawe inatoka huko,
yes, mchanga inatoka huku, simiti inatoka huku, and even the workforce. Yes. You have an interior designer, you have a mason, you have a roofing guy, you have a carpentry guy, you have quite a number of people. So the restriction of movement also affected construction industry. But I can also say, but there was a very big boom when Corona came, because people also realized that they need their space. So people started now building left, right, and center. People are able to take mortgages to be able to be secured in their workplace. Another challenge that we're having is now the bureaucracy within our regulations. I would say like the county governments, they are very good county governments that you get approvals within 2 weeks. Kenyans are frustrated. I can tell you for free. You have money.
The tape is too much.
Yes, the bureaucracy is too much. And then another thing, you get all the paperwork done. You go to the site. The same people who did the approval for you, they come and say now you never timized this rule. So they now start, the corruption now start again. So somebody comes and tells me, I'm from the health department. This plan, you're supposed to have like a toilet within your site. You're supposed to do fencing before you construct. And they never give you what you call now the
on your way up, no one talked.
Nobody talked. They just did the approval for you. And then also we have a challenge of having a lot of government bodies supervising the same thing.
Oh, I was wondering about that.
Yes. So
too many people,
many people supervising the same, same thing, rather than just having one body that can be able to take care of everything. I went to do a project in Wajir. I can recommend Wajir County the way they operate. Those are the people that they work with you. They give you all the process that you need to follow, and then they make sure that they come even and supervise that work as you are doing, just to make sure that you use the correct ratios and everything. Now, in other counties, and mostly like in Nairobi County and Kiambu County, you have a very big challenge of the approval processes, whereby people just want to use corruption, to make money. So most of people who are building, they share away. You have seen somebody that just doing foundation and then you forget about that building. And people
because the system seems to be set to make you fail.
Yes, to make you fail.
When it's supposed to make you succeed.
To make you succeed. And then also now, utility. Let's say road network is another challenge. Kenyans have land everywhere. Somebody will tell you I have land in Kangundo, I have land in Isinya, but then accessing your place is a challenge. So the government also need to check on the accessibility. We have a challenge of utilities like Kenya Power and water connection. Kenya Power has a lot of issues with the way they connect power. You pay today, they don't pick your calls once you pay for the connection. It takes ages for you to get power. And then also water rationing is also a very big challenge. But the biggest challenge I would say the road network, because even as the government says that they want to do affordable housing, me, I don't think Kenyans need to those houses that the government they are doing. What Kenyans need is they need good roads, they need water, and they need power. People can build everywhere, because the only challenge is you're working in Uphill. You have a plot in Kamuru. Where you live from the tarmac is like 2 kilometers. When it rains, you cannot be able to come to the tarmac so that you can pick a matatu to town. So you'll opt not to build
because of accessibility.
Because of accessibility. You go to areas there is no power. Power outages, transformers blow out like it takes a month before they are repaired. Yeah. So people I've seen customers experience. We build a house for them like in Juja Farm. They stay there for 2 months. They tell me now, because of those stress of going back and coming, So if the government can be able to work on those, those mandate of making sure that the system that they approve is good, the system that supervises is good, and then also they synchronize. We have one body that takes care of everybody. Things can work very well.
Things can work.
Yeah.
Now we are out of time, but let me just ask you: despite all those challenges, and considering that you are in the world of real estate, what would you give advice to the viewers who have heard you today?
What I'd give advice to the viewers who have heard us today is real estate real estate is very wide. There is real estate in selling land and even construction. This is a business that I can tell people is going very far. Currently, I've seen, I will talk like three things that I've seen will uplift our livelihood and also make our young people to grow. There is what we call the internet or the technology that we're having today. And then also people also need not to forget about the food industry. And then real estate is very diverse. You can sell land, you can broker land, you can build houses, you can sell houses. So this is the way to go for anybody who want to do real estate. The field is very wide, so I can say that tunasemanga ng'ombe hazimanyangi nyasi. That's the word that people use. So anybody can do this business. Yeah.
Thank you.
Asante.
So glad that we have had this conversation, and we continue to look at real estate as a world where many of us would like to get in. So we will definitely have more conversations. Hopefully, one of these days on site.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yes, we have a lot of sites. You are most welcome. Come and enlighten people. Let them see the work that we do. Let them feel, that touch and feel, you see our project and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
FARROWSON GICHOVI, he is the CEO of the Pacific Reality
Investments.
Yes. Correct.
Thank you.
That's 59 minutes for today. Have a very good day. God bless you. And for those of you that are Muslim, Eid Mubarak.
Thank you.